So when we help students to understand functions, it's really important that we connect those non-numerical examples, those real-world examples, to the numerical examples and the algebraic expressions, those tables, those graphs that are so important to help students really solidify that understanding. Now, the thing you need to remember is that students, there has been brain research that shows that students nowadays don't make connections as easy as we did, you know, those of us that were children 25, 35, 45 years ago. And so with the fast-paced world and everything, they're not making those same connections. So we really need to help them to make those connections. So let's take a look at some examples and see how some good ways to do that. So I really like to do a pair-share type thing with this activity. And what I will do is put these examples on the board. And I will ask them, you know, maybe I'll label them A, B, C, and D. But this first one here, why is it a function? Why does this machine work? You know, and I try to use those words back. Like, would this make sense as the toaster? If I put one in, I get one out. If I put something different in, I get something different out. Yep, that makes sense. Okay. Is it okay if we do these? As I work through these, connecting it to numbers, I explain that all 4 of these examples are functions, and they will all work. And then what I will ask them to do is draw these dots with the numbers and give me an example of one that is not a function. And so with their partner, I want them to draw that out, and can they come up with 4 more examples of things that are not functions. And so this is a great way for them to understand when it is not a function. So this is really powerful. The second thing I like to do is work with tables, and I like to do the same thing. But I'll reverse the roles just to make sure that they're getting it. So I will give them a bunch of tables like this one that is not a function. And again, I want them then to work with their partner to come up with great ones, some new tables that are functions. And I want them, a lot of times I will give them the x values because I want some of those x values to repeat. Because I want them to realize that the x values can repeat. If they're simply looking at if the x values repeat, that shortcut's really going to get them in a lot of trouble. But if they repeat, if this is a 3 and it's a 1, then over here it better be a 3 and a 1, right? I can put wheat toast in on Monday and again wheat toast in on Friday, but I'm still always going to get toast out. You know, the wheat bread, I should have said. But you're still going to get the toast out. So what I like to do is I give them the domain and then ask them to give me a range where it is a function. And so I'll give them 3 or 4 of those after giving them a bunch that are not a function. Sometimes they get tricked up for a minute, but when you take it and you put it back in the vocabulary that you've already used that are real world examples, you will find that they will get that really quickly. So let's go back to the example from the assessments. You can see that this is really going to help them master this assessment. If they've done that, if they've done those 2 activities there with matching the numbers and then filling out those tables and doing those pair shares, this is no longer a tricky question at all. They would be able to get this very, very quickly. And so that is exactly the goal we're looking for.